Hi everyone, my name is Yadira Tejeda Saldana. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm the Executive Director of a wonderful not-for-profit organization called Cellular Agriculture Canada. One of the best parts of my job in this organization is to be able to spread the word about how scientists are producing agricultural products such as meat using cells and spark people's curiosity about this process. I'm really glad to be here today, and I hope I can share with you my excitement about this new field called cellular agriculture that could eventually help us produce the food we love with a lower environmental impact. First of all, I want to show you some pictures, and I want you to tell me in the chat if you think these dishes look tasty. To me, they look super tasty, and even though I haven't been able to try them yet, I hope one day I can, because these are not just typical pieces of meat. All of them have been grown from cells from either shrimp, beef, chicken, or even duck. People that have tried these first samples have said that they taste really good and pretty close to a traditional piece of meat. I believe this is really amazing. In order to produce the products I show you, scientists needed to obtain an initial sample of cells. Normally, what they will use are called stem cells, which are special types of cells that have the ability to become any type of cell they want. For growing meat, these stem cells will transform into muscle cells. Scientists can collect these cells from different sources. For example, using a harmless procedure, they can remove a tiny little sample of tissue from an animal. They can also obtain those cells from a fresh piece of meat or even from a feather. Once they have the cells, they have to nurture them. In an animal, the cells will receive the food through their bloodstream, but when they are removed, scientists need to provide them with all the nutrients that they require and the adequate conditions to grow. They do this by putting the cells inside a vessel called a cultivator or a bioreactor, like the one in the picture. There, they will have the growth medium, which is similar to a broth that contains all the nutrients they need. They will also provide the cells with a support system that allow muscle cells to attach and form long muscle fibers that will eventually form meat. This process is called cell culturing, and that is why we call the products cultured or cultivated products. Do you want to see how a cell culture looks like? Here's an example of some turkey muscle cells. The scientists that produce it call it the turkey nugget. When I discovered cellular agriculture, I was amazed by the possibility of transforming the way we produce our food. Compared to the animal agriculture, early studies have shown that cultured meat could have less environmental impact while being faster, more efficient, and less wasteful. Thus far, it looks really promising, but we don't have to forget that these are preliminary estimations that will need to be confirmed once cultured meat is produced commercially at a large scale. We only have one planet, and cellular agriculture could help us create a more sustainable food production system. Thank you so much for listening to my talk, and thanks to everyone that submitted their questions. I will start with one of the most common questions that I get. How close are we to having this kind of meat available in shops? I have to tell you that the industry has made great progress, and currently several companies are working towards bringing their production process out of the lab into a bigger facility. Even though timelines could change, scaling up will allow them to produce bigger quantities of cultured meat, and hopefully they'll be able to have some limited products in selected areas in the next few years. So if you want to try them, you have to stay tuned. Next question. Can we grow organs or even whole animals for people from single cells? If not, do you think we'll be able to in the future? This is a really interesting question. Humans and animals develop from a single cell in our mother's womb. However, growing a whole animal or human outside the mother's womb, in the same way we are growing cultured meat, represents a bigger challenge. The tiny cell divides and transforms into so many different types of cells with different shapes and functions, such as the cells from the heart, kidneys, skin, and this process is quite complex and still a topic of research. However, what scientists have already done is to grow some of these different types of cells in labs using cell cultures. They use these cultured tissues to restore or improve the functions of damaged organs. This is called tissue engineering. And here's an example of a cultivator or a bioreactor that is used to grow some human stem cells. In fact, cellular agriculture uses some of the techniques developed by tissue engineers to grow stem cells and muscle cells to produce meat. Will people be able to make their own meat from a single cell in their own homes one day? The answer is I really hope we're able to. Do-it-yourself meat, I think it's definitely something in the bucket list of cellular agriculture scientists. In fact, some researchers in Finland have developed a countertop device that could be used at home to grow plant cells. They call it the cell pod, and it's the one in this picture. And it works as a mini cultivator or a mini bioreactor. Using the cell pod, they were able to grow different types of plant cells, such as the ones in this picture. Would you try these jam-like plant cells? Let me know in the comments. Does it cost a lot to make meat this way? The first burger that was created in 2013 cost $325,000. However, since then, scientists have found ways to reduce the cost to approximately 11. Although it is cheaper, it is still more expensive than a traditional beef burger. But scientists are on the right path and are hoping to reduce the cost even more. Finally, I left the best question for the end. What did you want to be when you were little, and which subjects did you study at school? I remember I was always interested in food. So one of my first career options was to become a chef. And I was not that wrong because I ended up studying food chemistry. Some of the subjects that I really enjoyed were chemistry and biology. And once I was in my undergrad, I loved courses such as microbiology, nutrition, and in overall, all the ones that involved being in the lab, doing some experiments to understand the basic processes for producing our food. So I really, really hope that you enjoyed this Q&A session, and thank you so much for listening. Take care, everybody, stay safe, and remember to spread the word about cellular agriculture. Bye-bye.